to the MarcWes Sports Podcast.
Probably should have watched it. I think I was at a game, I believe, basketball game.
University of Miami.
Yeah, which balling, I must say a couple of things I want to say about them is that, anything else on the Pro Bowl before I go into that?
Man, that's on the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, the Hurricanes basketball team, they've been balling, and CanesCounty.com, we've got a promotional deal going on with the point guard Isaiah Wong for his clothing apparel. So it's under bluechipteam.com, so you can go ahead and shop for his apparel. He's got a hoodie that says Unguardable, which is probably the best one, I think. And he's got another one that says Run It Back, because he ended up coming back to the University of Miami for another year. And he's got another one that says Underrated as well. But which kind of brings me to the Hurricanes. I mean, even though they ranked, I think they still kind of underrated here, just in the grand scheme of college basketball. If you look at this team is undersized. You got Norchad Amir. He's from the crib. He's Nicaraguan, but he is like 6'9", I believe, or 6'8", somewhere in that area. But he's their big man on the team. He's the one getting rebounds. He's the one, he's in the paint. He's the paint guy. But he's been dominating, bro. He's been dominating, getting double-doubles pretty much every game, running the floor, getting blocks. He's like, I don't know. He's kind of like, he reminds me of the like a young UD and Bam, like at the same time. Like that's what he kind of reminds me of. He's got that type of versatility. And then you got Wong, who's a really good scorer. Plenty of stories coming up on him on CanesCounty.com. And then you got Norchad. Norchad Amir is actually the guy in the middle that I was talking about from Nicaragua. And then Nigel Pack is like a young Steph Curry, man. I hate to compare him to him, but he's small like that. And he be making shots from the logo.
Damn.
But he's got hops too, because he had a putback dunk in the last game against Duke, which got the whole crowd,
A little Spud Webb out here, a little Spud Webb.
I don't know if he's that short, but man, he got hops and he can shoot the three from anywhere. So they're an exciting team to watch. Obviously, I'm covering them, so I'm watching them very closely. It's going to be fun to kind of watch them. I got my credentials for the ACC tournament, so I'll be going to North Carolina for that. So a lot more in store for the Hurricanes. Like I said before, I think they're the best team in South Florida right now. As far as when you compare them to their competition, they're ranked 19th. I expect them to move up, because Saturday they got a game against Louisville, a team that they blew out already, playing them for the second time, this time at home. That last game was on the road. This is a team that won 3 games. So there's nothing that tells me that they're not going to blow out Louisville and move up in the rankings. But, man, the Hurricanes basketball team makes the UM feel like it's a basketball school, because there's a bunch of dysfunction going on with the football team, it seems, from the outside, because the football team they don't have an offensive coordinator.
It's cool.
They're about to lose their linebackers coach.
It's cool.
Yep. They don't have a wide receivers coach.
It's cool.
They don't have a quarterbacks coach right now.
We already know.
They just hired a defensive coordinator.
And I think he's good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, with coaching hires, I'm a wait and see guy. You know what I'm saying? You were at Marshall. Marshall. You played in Conference USA. I mean, come on. It's not like the ACC. It's not a Power 5 conference. I'm more of a wait and see. Yeah, you beat Notre Dame. You beat Notre Dame on the road. Everybody's going to say, hey, you beat Notre Dame on the road. But Notre Dame wasn't expecting them. Sometimes that happens in college football. Notre Dame, it's not like they were a bad team last year. I mean, they were certainly better than the Hurricanes. And this is a guy who has only coached on that level. He's coached at Miami of Ohio, which coincidentally is Miami's first game of the season this season. He from Mount Union, a Division III school where he played at and he coached at originally. So yeah, I mean, it's a good hire, I think. Actually, I think I'm confusing that guy with someone else. I said Mount Union. That's actually someone else. Miami's thinking about for the OC job, Jason Camden.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this guy, Lance Guidry, he's actually from Louisiana. And the cool thing I like about him is that you can recruit that area, which Miami hasn't really recruited that well as of late. You know who came from Louisiana, bro?
Reggie
Wayne, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hopefully tonight is actually the where they announce the Hall of Famers. Hopefully Reggie Wayne is an announcement, and hopefully Zach Thomas is an announcement tonight, bro. Like, I wonder if that's on. That's probably on a little later. And hopefully Andre Johnson is, and hopefully Devin Hester is. So we'll the next time we speak, we gonna either be salty like we were last year, or we're gonna be like, hey, finally, Zach Thomas is in the damn Hall of Fame, or finally, you know, Reggie Wayne or Devin Hester or Andre Johnson is in the Hall of Fame. But yeah. Anything you want to know about the Hurricanes? There's so much stuff I could say about the Hurricanes. I'm covering the team, obviously. And I don't want to be on here for 2 hours.
No, definitely. Like I kind of understand why Charlie Strong is leaving. I mean, I'm in house, and you chose to go out of the crib.
How disrespectful is that, though? Like, How disrespectful is that? I mean, like, why? I mean, from what I hear, the job was basically promised to him too, and you don't even interview him.
Oh damn! I mean, I even thought, like, even with Jason Taylor could be one of these. I don't think that, you know, if you got Charlie Strong there, you would hire Jason Taylor. But Jason Taylor, like, look, I mean, come from a pedigree of playing in the league a long time. I mean, he obviously knows what he's doing. I mean, he coached up high school football. You know, that's another plus in regards to recruiting. You see what it got Patrick Surtain. You know, he wind up getting a job with the Dolphins, and he wind up moving up to Florida State right now, even though he should have came to the University of Miami. But that's all the dysfunction that's been happening with Miami. You feel me? Like, we're losing opportunities to get certain coaches because we're waiting so long. I don't know if it's because whoever we want is probably playing in the Super Bowl and you can't really conversate with these people. It's kind of like the same thing that was happening with the Miami Dolphins with the defensive coordinator being announced recently. Was you couldn't have a conversation with the guy supposedly. You feel me? Because, you know, they're still, trying to get through the Super Bowl, even though he's a consultant. But again, I mean, yeah, big slap in the face. You know, especially if they promised him the job. But we kind of figured this was going to happen. We had all these coaches that I didn't expect to stay 3-4 years. I expected them to be here a year, maybe 2 years, and then go somewhere else. From my understanding.
Strong, I didn't see coming, bro. Like, Strong, I didn't see coming. Kevin Steele, I did. I did see Kevin Steele either moving on somewhere or retiring. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's an old man.
From my understanding, like, Alabama want Charlie Strong too. You know what I'm saying?
I could understand that, and I could see that. The biggest thing that you lose, though, bro, with Charlie Strong, Charlie Strong was probably your best defensive coach. Yo, look what he did at recruiting. He got Malik Bryant, 4-star. He got Raul Aguirre, 4-star. You got Bobby Washington, 4-star. You got Marcellus Pulliam, 3-star, probably should be a 4-star. And then look what he did with Wesley Bassint. Wesley Bassint, freshman, comes in there, starts learning under Coach Strong. Next thing you know, this dude is starting. You know what I'm saying? And he gives it all to Coach Strong and how he developed it. So you got a coach that's developing talent and getting talent. You know what I'm saying? Because on the defensive side of the ball, that position group, look at the names I just named. You got 4 good talents that you got. Position group on the defense or any offensive line is the only other position group that you can say was recruiting at a high level. You know what I'm saying? And you don't offer this guy a job. This guy has been a head coach at Louisville, Texas, USF. He helped Florida win championships as a defensive coordinator. To put a bunch of players in the league, he's the reason why Teddy Bridgewater went to Louisville. I mean, like, I could go on and on. Like, come on, man. Like,
you're just giving me more ammo to feel bad about, you know, like the situation that we're in right now, because I'm like, last year me, you, and all of the Canes fans were like elated over everything that was happening after getting Mario Cristobal. You know, from the coaching hiring, you know, yeah, we were kind of like, what the hell is going on in the beginning? But once we hired him and, you know, he picked up that staff, you know, I was like, okay, cool, you know. But then you seen what we had on the field. Now, again, that's not necessarily the coach's fault. A lot of it, you know, had to deal with the players that was not doing or not buying into the actual system, or, you know, whatever reason. Some people just want to be with the previous regime. You see a lot of people went to SMU in the offense. So, you know, people probably just didn't want to buy into Mario. So, in regards to Coach Strong not being interviewed, I don't know if he had like a problem with Mario Cristobal or something like that. Because, you know, like I said, Mario Cristobal, he's the general. I said that before. He's the dictator.
Yeah,
it's his way or the highway.
It's funny how you say general too, because I heard that Cameron Kitchens, the safety, he said it's like the military. He said being on Miami right now is like the military. So, hey, maybe maybe Cristobal thought Strong wasn't buying into the culture. Maybe that was the case.
Exactly. I mean, so look, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, he was a coach. Yeah, he have all these accolades, but if he was so great, he would still be the coach at Texas. He would still be, you feel me, like a head coach. There's a reason why people fire people. You know what I'm saying? So he's been in multiple places, and why aren't you still there? It's some kind of disconnect that they're probably not saying to the public, you know, because we weren't there. But I mean, I understand the Texas situation if it come with racism, because, you know, like, look, racism is everywhere. When he got hired, a lot of people didn't want him to be the head coach in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you're winning and you're coming up with these 4- and 5-star players, like, what do you say when we're still losing? It's the coach. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing when you're still having this recruiting class that seems good and it's not showing up on the field? Yeah, we're gonna blame the players, but again, who's gonna fall on the sword? You know what it is. I mean, the captain of the ship. You gotta be the one, the last person off that ship when it's sinking. You know what I'm saying? So again, you're gonna be the one that takes the blame. And plus, these are kids. You know, people ain't gonna criticize these kids. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, probably on social media, people like me, not yourself, because you're in that type of work, so you're not gonna kind of criticize them that much. I'll leave it to me, Marcus. I got you. But I'm just saying, when it comes ultimately down to it, like, people gonna criticize people. Sometimes it's the player, sometimes it's the coach, but ultimately the person that's gonna fall on the sword is the coach, is the leader, is the general. So, you know, I feel him for wanting to leave now, you know, especially what you said. You know, you was guaranteed or promised a job if one person left, and it didn't happen. So again, I mean, it's not like he's landing somewhere where it's a negative. Like I said, I'm hearing rumblings he's, you know, Coach Saban wants him, and that's an upgrade for him. If you want to be honest, you didn't want nothing but 5-star players. Forget the players that you just recruited. You got 5-star players and I don't even think they got a 3-star in Alabama right now. So come on, Coach Strong. you're gonna be perfectly fine to go ahead and succeed in that environment, and you possibly could go somewhere else and be a coach. You know, that's what Nick Saban do. I mean, that's what Mario Cristobal is trying to emulate right now. You know, people that it didn't work out with them wherever they were at, come over here. Let me go ahead and give you a little kickstart, a little boost, and then now you're back in the league. Now you're back as a coach or in the NFL or something. So I kind of think that Nick Saban is trying to, you know, figure out what's going on with Miami and this, that, and the other. You know, like, let me hire the enemy so I can go ahead, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he did that one already with the defensive backs coach,
Yes.
Coach Travaris Robinson, T-Rob, as we call him. He was the defensive back coach at Miami, and now he's with Alabama. So this wouldn't be the first time that he would do this. But hey, man, it's concerning, man, to see Miami not with OC right now, and all these other position coaches.
Weeks, right?
Huh?
Spring game in like 3 in like 3 weeks, right?
Spring game is like in a month, but spring practice starts first week of March. So
can't play no damn practice without knowing the damn playbook.
Exactly, bro. they have to hire somebody quick. Like, things may pop off by this weekend, end of the week. You know, from what I hear, Jason Candle is supposed to be a guy, and then now I'm hearing Seth Littrell, who's from North Texas, could also be the guy, because Notre Dame's position, you know how it is right now. It's a coaching carousel. Like, Alabama just hired Notre Dame's OC, and now Notre Dame needs an OC. So now the guy that Miami was thinking is thinking about going to Notre Dame. So now Miami's thinking about, you know, hiring the guy from North Texas, who, from what I've seen, stats were really good. But again, it's at North Texas, Group of 5 school. So who knows? But I mean, it's a lot of moving parts right now going on with Miami. Some of the coaching staff is not happy, but I think he has his loyals, which is Alex Mirabal, the offensive line coach. He's not going anywhere. I don't think Kevin Smith is going anywhere, the running backs coach. Jamil Adai, possibility that, from what I hear, possibility could be looking into other options. Demarcus Van Dyke, who's a defensive analyst who was instrumental in getting a lot of kids at that position, and he's just dialed in with the community. Heard that he could be possibly looking elsewhere as well, because he wanted to be a defensive backs coach, and they basically, Cristobal, I heard, promised him the job, and that's not happening. So he's looking elsewhere, which is crazy, because Demarcus Van Dyke, played for the youth. He's dialed in with the youth program. He's dialed in with, like, all of these kids too, like 4-star Zaquan Patterson, a safety that they would love to get. Basically said that he's not going to be committing to Miami if Demarcus Van Dyke leaves. And I hear that he possibly could go to Georgia, and that's where also Zaquan is thinking about going to. So I don't know, man. I think if that happens, that'd be devastating for the program. And then losing another coach, trying to find another replacement. So yeah, now they need a linebackers coach. We just released a story just now. I was actually editing it right before we got on, as far as linebacker coach prospects. So it looks bleak right now, because these are the type of things that maybe happen like year 2 or 3 of a program. Usually doesn't happen after year 1, where you got all this kind of overhaul of coaches like that. And I do feel like it's strategic that after the signing class officially signs, you got all these coaches about to leave. Because if these coaches left earlier, you know, these kids likely all of them wouldn't sign. So this is a critical year for Cristobal, bro. Like it is really critical. My guy Frank, he thinks that this team could get 8-9 wins. I am more on the pessimistic side of things. I think, you know, this team maybe good for 7 wins. You know, I think 8 to me is a ceiling. You know, he thinks maybe 10 is a ceiling. I think 8 is a ceiling, to be honest, because there's so many moving parts, bro. Just like last season. Last season, you had all these moving parts happening. You know, people got to get used to new playbook, new culture, new way of coaching, new schemes and everything. And now we're going to do the same thing all over again. If you kept strong, at least you would have had basically the same scheme. You know what I'm saying? Because they were co-defensive coordinators, him and Steele. But now you lose both of them. So now you're going to bring in somebody brand new, Guidry, who does a different type of style. It is aggressive. I will say that. It's a 4-2-5. I know you play Madden, so I know you know what that is. 4-2-5, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs, which is basically what everybody kind of runs now anyway, because everybody runs the spread offense. So you want more defensive backs that can tackle in space and can play,
But we don't got that many defensive backs.
That's the thing. We got one outstanding one, right? With Cameron Kitchens, who's likely going to be going to the NFL maybe after next season. But after that, you got James Williams, who's underperformed. You don't have Tyreek or DJ Ivy anymore. They're gone.
Nobody cares about Ivy. I'm just saying.
You can see that. And then you got Daryl Porter, who we didn't see much of last season. You got Devontae Brown, from UCF, who I think is good. I think he's a good, solid plug-and-play type of guy. And then you got Terry Roberts, who came from Iowa, another transfer. We'll see how good he is, but I'm always weary of transfers. Devontae Brown, I'm not weary of because he's from the crib. You know what I'm saying? His dad played for UM. His little brother is Damari Brown. You know what I'm saying? He got trained from coaches that I know who have developed players over the years. So I really think Devontae Brown is going to lock down one side of the field, especially what the stats show. Pro Football Focus really high on that kid. But the other side is kind of unproven. You know, Daryl Porter, are you going to step up and be that guy that you're supposed to be? Also from Heritage. Or is it going to be to Corey Couch? Are you going to be the guy to kind of step up and be the guy? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to step up to be the other corner on the side, or are you going to be that nickel corner again, which I think he didn't have a good season as the previous season to Corey Couch. So it's just a lot of unproven guys. And if you're dependent on those guys based on this scheme, because this scheme's a lot of quarters, which means it's like it's basically where the defensive backs are playing in space and they kind of make plays and react type of thing. So if it's going to be a defense based on that, based on what we saw from defensive backs last season, I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? Because the strength of this team last year was the front. You know, we got a lot of sacks. We got a lot of tackles for loss. The linebackers started to really progress as the season went on. I think that was kind of the strength of the team. It definitely, to me, wasn't the defensive backs aside from Cameron Kitchens. Cameron Kitchens, you know, you can argue that he was the best safety in all of college football based on how he played last season. But he's one guy, and God forbid he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? And there's not much behind him.
Then what's up with Antoine Jackson wanting to be released from his?
So right. That's a situation where Antoine Jackson was already kind of thinking about leaving Miami, like at his signing. You know, to give you inside information, like a lot of guys I know that's close to him were just basically talked him into basically signing for Miami because, you know, he was thinking about going to East Carolina because
East Carolina.
I'll tell you why. Because his girlfriend, let me remind you that Antoine Jackson is 16 years old, right? He completed classes early. He skipped a grade basically to graduate early. So he's a youngin. He's a younger than the youngins. You know what I'm saying? 16 years old. You making these big, bold decisions. But so his girlfriend got I believe a track scholarship to East Carolina. He visited East Carolina in like December. So that was a possibility for him. And then Louisville is also a big possibility for him because Louisville is one of those schools like Miami who's got bread, got NIL money to really kind of give players. And Louisville's got a bunch of players from the crib, like a bunch of them. Like, you know, Stanquan Clark is going over there. Taurus Hicks, you know, Brownlee, who used to be at Carroll City, is over there. It's just a bunch of guys. Like I would have to look at the roster to look at it, and they're gonna give out NIL money, so that is a possibility. And the other thing is that he feels some kind of way about Kevin Steele leaving. Like Kevin Steele, he felt like was gonna be guiding him, and then the reason why he wanted to leave Miami is because he wanted to play right away. I don't like something like he doesn't want, like he's 16 years old, right? Ain't no way you playing right away. You're small. You just no way you're gonna play right away. Not with this team. Yeah, I mean all these defensive backs that I just named, you're not gonna start over Daryl Porter. You're not gonna start over Corey Couch. You're not gonna start over Devontae Brown. You're not going to start over Terry Roberts. You're not going to start over these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially at 16, you haven't hit a college weight room yet. So he wants to play right away. That was the kind of the first thing. Like, oh, I want to play right away. They said I'm going to have to red shirt. I don't want a red shirt. That I want to go somewhere else. I'm going to East Carolina. I'm going to Louisville. That was the first thing. Now with Kevin Steele saying that he's going to Alabama, he's like, oh, well, now I want out for real. You know what I'm saying? Because Kevin Steele was my guy. I want out for real. So that's basically why he wants to leave.
So what do you think we should do? You think we should let his ass sit and use one of his transfer, one of his eligible years for him doing that? Or we should just go ahead and just release his ass from that shit?
I think you should just release him, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't really want to be here, bro. You gotta have kids that are 100% committed, you know?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that we keep him. Yeah, we know that you don't want to be here, but
you're trying to just
since you put us in
punishment.
Yeah, since you put us in a situation, because that's somebody else we could have recruited. Now that the period is gone, and our DBs, like the DB room is not even that thick. You know what I'm saying? So now we're getting rid of you. Oh, nah, boy. You can leave. Cool. But you're going to have to, I think you get 2 times to transfer. Use one of them. So if you go somewhere else and it don't work, learn your lesson early. Let's teach you that early, especially since you over here trying to chase some sack. You want to chase the sack when you're going to have all type of sack in your face, you being a student athlete? Come on, man.
Yeah,
I know it's not that good.
Yeah, so I mean that's the whole situation with Antoine Jackson. I mean, I like him as a player. I think he can develop into somebody really good because he's very technically sound. He's not the best. I wouldn't say he's the best tackler. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to covering, I mean, he was toe-to-toe with Jeremiah Smith in the game. So that already kind of tells you how good he can be as far as DB is concerned. So yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, but he seemed pretty adamant about leaving Miami. That's up to him and Cristobal. I mean, I'm pretty sure they already had a conversation, but you know, however that conversation went is how it's gonna go down.
Hey. We'll see how it goes. You have anything else?
Let's talk about the Super Bowl, man. The Super Bowl's coming up. So, first of all, I do want to say that the wife correctly picked the 2 teams to go to the Super Bowl.